Hello, everybody. Resident blue paint splotch in the vague form of a dwarf on your screen here. And welcome to DRG Tidbits, a series where I talk about stuff that is at least vaguely related to Deep Rock Galactic. Mostly about things in the actual game, but sometimes, like this one, a little bit out there. So the topic I wanted to explore a little bit today is how far has technology actually progressed in the DRG universe? Now, I should preface this with the fact that lore in DRG is fairly loose. The focus has always been on the game itself, over creating a well-established canon or rich story. I'm sure the scout hitting the floss on the dance floor while wearing the bunny costume is not actually something that is canon to the universe. Or otherwise, Mission Control might actually have a mental breakdown and implode. That being said, there is a little bit of story and lore that established the world of the game and came along with the seasons to justify the narrative developments that caused new things to appear on Hoxie's 4, such as the arrival of the rival company. For the record, I will be taking into account things that are meant to be in-universe from Deep Rock Galactic, as well as Rogue Core, and to a lesser degree Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. So with that all being said, let's get into it. This topic really came to mind because of something present in Rogue Core. The ship that the Reclaimers are on, the Ramrod, has something called a punch drive. So that got me wondering as to what this punch drive actually does. Does it punch holes through space for the ship to travel through? And what is it powered by? Those two thoughts got me interested in looking at how far technology in the DRG universe has progressed past our current point, and get to speculate a little bit about things that we could reasonably expect to see along with this level of technology. So to begin answering this question, we have to review a bit of basic DRG lore. From the DRG website, we know that there are a total of 89 operational space rigs in more than a dozen outer rim systems, as well as having 16 more under construction. In DRG, we work on Space Rig 17, which, according to the messages on the Ramrod, is the primary one in Hoxie's 4 orbit. We know that there are other space rigs in orbit around Hoxie's 4, such as Space Rig 5, which was mentioned as being destroyed during the quests during Season 4. So if we go off the numbers given here, there are an average of 8 rigs per system if they're evenly distributed. But we know that Hoxie's 4 is the most profitable planet in the DRG operation, so there's probably a lot more space rigs around the planet, even if we never see them. In addition, we need to note that the DRG company has competitors, not only through the rival company, but also mentioned as competitors that think planets like Hoxie's 4 are too dangerous to mine on. Now, what I want to draw attention to here is that the DRG company has all this infrastructure set up in a system in the outer rim of the galaxy, as well as mentioning the existence of other systems in the outer rim with this similar level of infrastructure, and other companies capable of making this infrastructure. Now, I don't know when the last time you looked outside of Earth into the vastness of space is, but may I remind you that scales on the magnitude of galaxies are utterly massive. Our own Milky Way galaxy in the real world is roughly 100,000 light years wide. That is this many miles, or this many kilometers, which is roughly a quintillion. I want to stress how big this number is. You literally cannot comprehend how big this number is because of the way the human mind works. This is how many zeros are in that number. The number of kilometers wide, roughly, our galaxy is. And here's the worst part, our galaxy may actually be on the small side from what we've seen. It's not the smallest, but it is certainly not the largest, as that award currently goes to your mother. I'm sorry, but to get back to it, how are DRG and other similar companies keeping these operations on a galactic scale supplied, getting the resources made by them processed in some sort of centralized infrastructure? Many sci-fi settings working on this type of scale have some system to travel faster than light, such as the warp in Warhammer 40k, slipspace in Halo, hyperspace in Star Wars, systems like that. To make Deep Rock Galactic, the company, profitable at this kind of scale, kinda necessitates having some way to transport things faster than light. This FTL travel may actually be fueled by Morkite, which we're told is the primary moneymaker for DRG that we mine on Hoxie's for, but I think I'll save the actual usage of Morkite as a topic for another episode. But anyways, the existence of the Reclaimers in Rogue Core and the punch drive of their ship further supports the existence of this FTL travel in the Deep Rock universe. Similar to calling for reinforcements for a planet in Warhammer 40k, the Reclaimers need some sort of way to travel faster than light to make it worthwhile for them to respond to distress calls in different systems of the Outer Rim. So we can reasonably say that DRG has some sort of FTL travel, which alone brings us quite far forward as far as technological progress in the DRG universe. So, beyond FTL travel, what else can we point to as evidence of this level of technological progress? Firstly, Omega, the AI used by the Reclaimers in Rogue Core, may be a sign that there was a breakthrough in making an artificial general intelligence, which, might I remind you, is very different from the AI of today. That's a very deep well of topics that I don't quite want to get into, but it is a sign of general technological progress. Even if Omega himself is not an artificial general intelligence, there at least have been huge leaps in robotics and artificial intelligence in the DRG universe. We see this through the rival company and the usage of robots like Molly, Bosco, Lloyd, and Cooper in the games. And speaking of things that we use in the games, the tools used by the dwarves are a pretty good sign of where technology is at in the story. Through these tools, we see a wide usage of things like plasma-based weapons, rail cannons, lasers, holograms, energy shields, and exotic material science, all in tools that are considered fairly expendable, as with any other property of the Deep Rock Company, even the employees. Even though these tools are marketed as high-tech, they are probably very widely available and cheap to make. The Deep Rock Galactic Company is, if anything, willing to cut corners to make a profit. They are pretty much a soulless company that only cares about profit, and again, not about you, their employee. If anything, the more experimental tech in Deep Rock's arsenal is just starting to dabble with the secrets of the universe, such as a little bit of time travel as a treat in Rogue Core. Although it is important to note that these tools are used alongside more traditional ones, such as fairly standard firearms, drills, and things of that nature. The presence of these more traditional tools can help us ground the setting as far in the future as far as technological progress, but not too far in the future. It may also be that this is just due to dwarven culture. They don't really want to fix what isn't broken, so they are still using these older tools. In reality, it was probably just that these tools fill a more traditional niche within the gameplay space, and were created as such as part of the transition from a more medieval setting in Deep Rock's very early development. But for now, I'll take the presence of these traditional tools as a bit of a grounding to say that technology in the DRG universe is pretty far forward. There's been breakthroughs in faster-than-light travel, robotics, and such, but not quite at the point of the secrets of the universe being unlocked. So, in summary, the technology in the Deep Rock Galactic universe is likely akin to humanity in Halo, if not a bit beyond them, where they're just starting to handily conquer the galaxy and further space, but they're not quite at the level of intergalactic, omnipotent beings being made through extreme sciences. What are your theories on technology in DRG? Leave a comment here, or join my Discord linked in the description to tell me about what you think. And let me know what you'd like me to discuss in future episodes of DRG Tidbits. But that's all for now. Subscribe for DRG news, more tidbits, and thank you for watching. Technology!